Welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring a scenario that's as fascinating as it is sobering. What would happen to dogs if humanity was wiped out in a global catastrophe? Dogs have been our companions for thousands of years, but if we suddenly disappeared, what would become of them? How would they survive? And what would their future look like in a world without humans? Let's dive into this deep and thought-provoking scenario. First, let's consider the immediate aftermath. If humanity were wiped out by some global catastrophe, whether it's a pandemic, nuclear war, or environmental collapse, dogs would be left to fend for themselves. For millions of dogs around the world, the first challenge would be figuring out how to survive without their human caregivers. This would be particularly difficult for dogs that have been bred for companionship, or those that have lived their entire lives in homes where food, water and shelter were provided for them. In the first few days and weeks, the majority of domesticated dogs would likely experience confusion and fear. They might wait by the doors or windows expecting their humans to return, or wander around their homes and neighborhoods searching for familiar faces. Some dogs, especially those in urban environments, would have a difficult time finding food and water. Without humans to feed them, many dogs would start scavenging, overturning trash cans, raiding stores and warehouses, and even eating whatever they can find in abandoned homes. However, not all dogs would be equally equipped to handle this sudden shift. Dogs that have retained more of their wild instincts, such as hunting breeds, herding dogs, and those that have spent time as strays, would have a better chance of survival. These dogs might begin to band together, forming packs to increase their chances of finding food and protecting themselves from other threats. Over time, these packs would start to develop new social structures. The alpha or dominant dogs would emerge as leaders, with other dogs following their lead. These packs might initially consist of dogs from similar breeds or sizes, but as time goes on, they would likely become more mixed, with survival rather than breed or appearance becoming the determining factor for inclusion. Dogs that were once rivals might learn to cooperate, sharing the spoils of their scavenging and hunting efforts. So, what happens after the initial chaos subsides and dogs begin to adapt to life without humans? As the weeks turn into months, the dogs that survive would gradually start to rely less on scavenging and more on hunting. In rural areas, packs of dogs might start hunting small mammals, birds, and even larger prey if they're able to. Their hunting techniques would likely be rudimentary at first, but over generations they could become more refined as natural selection favors the most successful hunters. In urban areas, where natural prey might be scarce, dogs could face tougher challenges. They might continue to rely on scavenging for a while, feeding on any leftover food supplies they can find in abandoned stores and homes. However, as these resources dwindle, competition for food would increase. Some dogs might turn to hunting urban wildlife, such as rats, pigeons, and even other smaller dogs or cats. It's a harsh reality, but one that's likely in a world where survival becomes the primary focus. Water would also be a critical concern, especially in urban environments where natural sources might be limited. Dogs would need to find new ways to stay hydrated, which could include drinking from rivers, ponds, and even drainage systems. Over time, dogs that are more resourceful and adaptable would be the ones that survive, leading to a gradual shift in the population toward those traits. As the years pass, the differences between former house pets and wild dogs would start to blur. The packs that formed in the early days would become the new normal, with social structures evolving to meet the challenges of the environment. In areas where food and water are more abundant, these packs might grow larger and more stable, with clear hierarchies and territories. In harsher environments, smaller, more mobile packs might be the norm, constantly on the move in search of resources. But what about the long-term evolution of dogs in this new world? How would they change over generations? Without humans to selectively breed them, the diverse dog breeds we know today would gradually disappear. Traits that were bred for human preferences, such as the flat faces of bulldogs or the tiny size of chihuahuas, would likely become disadvantages in the wild. Natural selection would favor traits that increase survival in the new environment, such as size, strength, stamina, and the ability to hunt. Over time, the descendants of today's dogs could start to resemble their wild ancestors more closely, with leaner bodies, thicker coats, and stronger jaws. The return to a more feral state wouldn't happen overnight, but over several generations, dogs that are best suited to the environment would become the dominant population. In some areas, these dogs might even begin to resemble wolves or other wild canines, with whom they share a common ancestor. This evolutionary process would likely be accelerated in environments where competition for resources is intense and only the fittest survive. In some regions, particularly where other domesticated animals have also been left behind, we might see dogs forming new symbiotic relationships with other species. For example, dogs could partner with goats or sheep, offering protection in exchange for the opportunity to hunt smaller prey that might be attracted to these animals. These kinds of interspecies alliances could be a key survival strategy in a world without humans. Over the centuries, as the memory of humans fades, dogs would fully integrate into the ecosystems around them. In some areas, they might become top predators, while in others they might fill a niche similar to that of scavengers like hyenas. Their role in the ecosystem would depend heavily on the environment they find themselves in and the other species they coexist with. But would any of today's dogs retain their connection to humans? Is there a possibility that some might preserve behaviors or traits that were developed during their time as our companions? While it's possible that some vestiges of their domesticated past could remain, especially in the early generations, these traits would likely fade over time as survival in the wild takes precedence. Behaviors like fetching, sitting, or relying on humans for direction would become irrelevant, replaced by instincts that favor self-reliance, hunting, and pack cohesion. That said, dogs are highly adaptable and intelligent animals. It's not out of the question that some behaviors could be repurposed for survival. For example, the strong social bonds that dogs form with humans could translate into stronger pack bonds in the wild, with dogs relying on each other for companionship and protection in the absence of humans. In a way, dogs could continue to carry a piece of their domesticated past with them, but in forms that are more practical for survival. Their loyalty and social nature, which were once directed toward humans, would become essential tools for navigating the challenges of a world without us. So what would the world look like thousands of years after humans are gone? The descendants of today's dogs might roam the earth as wild canines, having fully adapted to their new environments. They would no longer be the pampered pets or working dogs we know today, but rather fierce, independent creatures that embody the resilience and adaptability that has always been a part of their nature. It's a sobering thought, but also a testament to the incredible versatility of dogs. They've evolved alongside us, and if we were gone, they would continue to evolve, finding new ways to survive and thrive in a world without humans. What do you think? How would your dog adapt to a world without humans? Could they survive and even thrive in the wild? And what do you think future dogs would look like after thousands of years of evolution without us? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the scenarios that could reshape our world. Until next time, keep questioning, stay curious, and give your dog an extra pat today. They've earned it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.